Hello, welcome to another episode of Behind the Needle. I am your
Hi.
host, Mike Lemieux. I am the founder of a company called MedSpa Media. We're a marketing agency that gets more bookings and appointments for med spas. And today I am here with Ingrid Marayag. How are you today, Ingrid?
Hi, doing good. Thanks for having me.
I'm so excited to have you here. She is the founder of Gray Skin Aesthetics out in Monterey, California. And I've actually never been to Monterey. I
Oh,
saw that no, I haven't. I've been to San Francisco, I've been to Southern California plenty of times, but where I saw it on the map, it's in this, I'm sure it's a beautiful little bay that's carved out of on the
oh
coast of
yeah.
California. And I bet it's an amazing place to be.
It's a beautiful place. A pretty little pocket in the central coast of California. Beautiful.
Beautiful. I
Yeah.
bet the weather is amazing, and I bet it's a great place to be. I wanted to bring you on today because Monterey it's not a huge city, is it? It's fairly
No,
small.
it's fairly small. I mean, compared to a larger city about an hour away up north, San Jose, which is
Yeah.
almost a million people. Monterey compared to San Jose is a small town.
Yeah.
But within this
Yeah.
pocket of Monterey Peninsula, you have Carmel, you have
Mhm.
Pacific Grove, so it's its own little community here.
Yeah, I'm fascinated by the smaller areas. We'll just call them the small towns, just because it's easy for everyone to know kind of what that means.
Yeah.
I'm fascinated by the small towns and aesthetic providers who establish a practice in them because there's just not as many people. There's not as many potential customers to choose from, is the initial thought
True.
that I have. So I would love to start by kind of hearing your story about how you got into this, because I know that you've been practicing medicine for 12 years and you've been doing aesthetics for the past three, or is it longer than that now?
Almost five now. Yeah,
Almost five. Okay, cool. So then that means that you've been almost 14 years as in the field, right?
correct. Yes.
Okay. And you're almost five in aesthetics. How did you choose, after going for nearly 9 years in another field, how did you decide to make the jump and why?
Good question. Well, I was always interested in, um, I guess you could say the beauty world. Prior to being a nurse, I was actually I had many jobs. I worked in the corporate arena, but I was actually a makeup artist for almost 10 years. So I've been
Wow,
in the beauty industry, if you will, not medical beauty, but I was in the beauty industry as a makeup artist for almost 10 years. So I've
that's
always
amazing.
had an eye for these kind of things. Um, and then I became a nurse in 2012. How I got into aesthetics, again, most providers that I know will have a similar story. They start off
Hmm.
as a patient themselves
Yeah,
before getting into aesthetics as a provider. So that's how I got started into medical aesthetics.
and what
But how
hooked
I
you? What
how
was
I
the
started
first
my
treatment you
business was
got?
different. Sorry, what was that?
So sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. Well, I was just curious, what was the first treatment that hooked you?
My very first treatment was a lip filler back in
Okay,
2019.
that's
Yeah.
that is not what I expected. Most people are like, I got Botox or I got a laser or I had a hydrofacial or microneedling, but straight to lip filler.
I went straight for the lips.
Okay.
Straight to lip filler.
Okay,
Yeah.
so then in 2019, and I'm sorry for cutting you off there, in 2019
Zero
is when you
fine.
started again, right?
Yes.
Back
So
into it?
2019, I was a patient,
Yep.
got my very first aesthetic treatment and got lip filler. And then soon after that, I did my first neuromodular treatment and got Botox.
Okay. And they were just like, I think that I could do this for other people
Yes.
because I like the results. This makes me feel beautiful. It makes me feel confident.
That's exactly what I thought to myself when I was sitting in the chair. I had an amazing provider in San Francisco.
Uh-huh.
And she and I got along really well. We clicked. And as I was kind of observing her and what she did and how she educated me, I thought to myself, I want to do this.
Yeah.
I could do what she does. I want to do what she does. It's kind of
Yeah.
what went through my mind when um, I knew I wanted to be a nurse. I didn't always want to be a nurse when I was younger. But after giving birth to my first daughter, um, that whole experience is what kind of sparked
Wow.
the interest into becoming a nurse. So
That's really cool. It's really cool to me for a few different reasons. I don't think, I mean, I'm just guessing. I don't think most people know what they actually want to do when they grow up. But I also
I
think that we
agree.
kind of settle into something that is, it just kind of happens and naturally evolves, and we can learn to love it or we can learn to just deal with it. But you have done that twice now, where you had an experience very close
Mhm.
to the field that you went into and were like, wow, I actually really love this. I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
That's
I
incredible.
mean, when we're young and people ask you, what do you want to be when you grow up? It's like asking a 6-year-old, what do you want to do when you grow up? They're not at that mental capacity yet or developmental capacity to even comprehend what they want to do. They just
Right.
want to go play outside.
I was going
So,
to say, they're going to say they want to play.
yeah, yeah, I was already well into my um, 30s when I became a nurse and already
Mhm.
had a family. So, yeah,
Wow. That is so awesome. And then
yeah.
so did somebody, how did you hear though about aesthetics too? Because I'm always curious, like, was it from an ad? Was it somebody that you knew? Like, how did you find that practitioner up in San Francisco?
Good question. And this is all going to really be cool for us to talk about because um, the way I found my provider in San Francisco was I was looking through social media on
Uh-huh.
Instagram, just doing my daily scroll
Yeah.
when one of my hairdressers at the time had a very transformative aesthetic treatment.
Wow.
And when I saw her results, I had already been following aesthetic providers, but again, hadn't done a treatment yet. When I saw her transformative results, I thought, wow, I I want to go try and see what that does for me. So I went to see the provider that she saw in San Francisco.
I think, Ingrid, what you just said is very important to call out. I think that the reason, no, I'm gonna say it this way. The way we convert social media lookers and followers to customers is by helping them realize that what you did for someone else, you can do for them too.
Right. And she was my hairdresser. So she was already someone that I trusted, someone that I went to
Hmm.
for my own hair, right?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
just like in most things, if you know a friend or a family member who goes to, hey, do you know a good mechanic? Then you're going to trust their judgment and trust their experience and probably go check out that mechanic. So
Yeah.
when I saw her results on social media, I thought I'm going to go see her person and see
Yeah.
what that
Yeah.
does for me.
And that's a benefit of having a friend who doesn't gatekeep.
Sure. Yeah,
There's no reason to hide what we do. It's all and I love about what you do because I believe on your website it says aging is a privilege
it
and
is.
and it's okay and it's a good thing to age gracefully. And that's probably maybe has something to do with why you call it grace aesthetics, I would imagine.
It has
And
something
that's
to do with that. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And that's your philosophy around treating your patients is not to try to make them look like someone or something that they're not, but rather to help them age gracefully and feel as beautiful as they are. Is that right?
Exactly. Absolutely. Yeah.
I'm just trying to hype you up here and help
That is absolutely,
with your
that is part
messaging.
of where I got the name from. Absolutely. Working in the hospital, in my other nursing experience, I worked at a trauma hospital in the operating room and surgery. So I've seen everything. I've seen all kinds of crazy things, and
I'm
have
sure.
helped take care of very critically ill patients. So that's where my whole thinking of aging is a privilege.
Yeah.
In the beauty industry, everything is anti-aging, reverse aging.
Yeah.
And a lot of products work really well scientifically to do those things, right? And of course, marketing is good. You have to call it something. So anti-aging is is very recognizable. It's easy to
Yeah.
say,
Yeah.
right? But the whole idea is, at least what I believe is aging is a privilege. I see it every day. People who are um, younger than us who are ill and sick in the hospital, right? Who have health issues,
Absolutely.
right? So, anyways, that's where that whole idea came from.
I love that. Aging, it honestly is a privilege. And I think that it's awesome that you're doing what you're doing. You have followed your heart and your dream at least twice from what you've mentioned so far. And what an example that must be
Yeah,
to everyone else in your family. Like, just tremendous job. I think it's amazing. I think it's amazing.
thanks.
So, did you grow up in Monterey?
No, actually, I grew up in
Okay.
San Jose, California. I grew up there for most of my childhood. Prior to that, my dad was in the Navy for many, many years, so we grew up on a naval base in my early childhood years. But for the
Okay.
most part, I was in San Jose. Um, Moved around a little bit within San Jose, but that's where I grew up. I consider myself still kind of local to Monterey because I've worked in this area for so long. So
Yeah.
The Monterey Peninsula is definitely a second home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When did you land in Monterey?
Um, let's see. My hospital job is actually not too far away, so that's
Yep.
one reason.
Yep.
And then prior to opening up Gray Skin, I worked for a med spa here in town.
Okay.
So that's how I got my start in aesthetics was here in Monterey.
So you're not from there. You had worked in a couple of different jobs in the
Yeah.
area and directly also in Monterey. Were you nervous when you were first going out on your own? Like, how am I going to find patients? Did you have a
Oh,
book
yeah.
of business that came with you? Like, how? Because for me, that feels like the scariest part of it
Scary.
all when
Oh,
you're a solo
absolutely.
provider leaving and you're talented and you believe that you can do it and you want to do it and you want to do it for yourself. But how do you get new customers? So how did that work? How did it work at first?
Good question. So when I worked for a med spa here in town, and I was
Yeah.
there for a few years, and you're absolutely right. It wasn't at first. I thought, okay, well, this is cool. I'll get even more nursing aesthetic experience. They're basically going to feed me clients, and for the most part, that was the case because
Oh, good.
it was a plastic surgery
Yeah.
slash med spa.
Yep.
So most times it was pretty easy. They would convert a plastic surgery patient into an aesthetics patient. So for the most part, it was easy to be fed those patients.
Yeah.
Um, and being there for a few years, I was lucky to have a small following. Um, when I was ready to grow and open up on my own, which was very scary, I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't know anything about running a business, but I just know that there's something inside me that I'm feeling a calling, something stronger.
Yeah.
I want to build my own identity, my own brand. And I wasn't able to do that at the med spa that I was at.
Hmm.
Um, I got lots of support and education, but I wanted to be my own brand, my own person.
Yeah.
Anyways, when I was ready to leave, I knew I couldn't poach those patients. I couldn't say, "Hey, I'm going to open a med spa." So I just had to really rely on my social media following that I had at the time and
Yep.
just kind of stay in touch with them. I didn't make any announcements either, just in fear of retaliation from the other place, right? So I really
Sure.
just had to have faith in my relationships that I had already developed from my patients at that med spa.
Hmm.
Anyways, I was lucky that when I did open my place, I did have a small following to start out. So
Good. That's
yeah,
so important.
and it
I'm
was
just,
scary in the beginning.
yeah, I bet it was. I'm
It's
picturing
still
you.
scary.
It never stops being scary,
Never stops being
literally,
scary.
for any of us. And I think it's good to say that because then everybody remembers, like, even when you see the fancy dinners and the conferences and the glam and the cars and the bags, it's like everyone is still scared.
Oh yeah.
Even the people who they're afraid that it could all go away. Everyone is scared.
Yeah,
But you do it scared. You do it scared because it's your dream and you want to help people and it's the vision, right?
absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a people have heard this saying all the time. If it doesn't make you uncomfortable, it's probably not going to help you grow. You know,
Yeah.
growth is supposed to make you a little bit uncomfortable.
I love that.
Yeah.
So you had a small amount of people find you and come with you, which
Yes.
is fantastic. It
Yeah.
helped keep the doors open at the beginning, especially for sure. And
Yeah.
then what did you do in the first 3 to 6 months or so after you opened to try to keep growing the business?
Good question. I'm a solo provider here. So
Yep.
I'm everything. I'm HR, I'm the cleaning lady, I'm the receptionist. Um, so I was really relying on um one, just continuing to nurture the current relationships that I had with patients, because I knew if I took good care of them, they would share that experience and tell their 5, 10 friends. Those five,
Yep.
10 friends are going to tell another 5, 10 friends or family. So, even with all the technology, social media, and ads you can run nowadays, there's something still special about word of mouth, just
Yep.
like we talked
Yep.
about earlier. So I
Yep.
was really relying on that, especially in the beginning. Um, and then I tried to really up my social media presence,
Hmm.
or at least just stay consistent and stay relevant, stay present. You know, I grew up in a time, I'm a Gen Zer. I grew up in a time where we didn't have social media. So, I still try to just stay relevant and present. You have to
Yeah.
because social media nowadays is it's your digital storefront.
Yep.
Yeah,
It is. And so social media has been a huge priority for you. It's probably not been fun compared to how much fun it has been, I would guess. It's more of a pain as it is for many than it is something that you enjoy doing, but it's worked and it's working for you. And that's kind of so when I started doing what I'm doing, I mentioned this to you before we started recording, but when I started doing what I'm doing, I was making content for med spas for their social because the people that I was coaching at the time just didn't have the desire or the time or know what to post and create and everything. So, but we know that it works because your loyal patients follow you and they DM with you and they have
yeah,
conversations about what you just posted the week before when they come in and see you. So we know that it works, but it's difficult to attribute any ROI, return on investment, from that content that you're creating because you just don't know. It's a
right.
really hard way to track,
There has to be
but
some sort of um, unit of measure or some way you can measure, right?
yeah,
Or
the only
data.
thing I've ever thought of in terms of collecting data from it is asking people that come in if they follow your Instagram and if they see your content.
Exactly. So when I do get a new patient,
Uh-huh.
even now, so I've been in my space now a little over a year, going on a year and a half.
Yeah.
So when I do get a new patient, whether they were referred to me or not, I will always ask them. One of my first questions is, "How'd you find me? How'd you hear about me?" And I'll take note. Oh, she heard about me from, so and so, or from the other day, someone found me on Military Wives Facebook group in town.
Amazing.
Yeah, Monterey Military Wives Facebook group. Um,
Wow.
so yeah,
That's
so
awesome.
anyways, it's always good, at least for me, to take note of how someone heard about me.
Yeah, yeah. What do you feel like the most effective thing you have implemented in your practice? What's the most effective thing you do to get people to come back?
Another good question. When I've spoken to a few business mentors and coaches of mine, they've said, on, separate times, but the commonality is there's nothing better than your current patient, your current relationships. Um, so focusing on client retention. So
Yeah.
to answer your question, I acquired um, sorry, it's kind of noisy over here sometimes. I acquired an app, um, that helps to with client rewards, for example.
Oh,
So it's just it's a nice client retention tool. So they in that technology, I'm able um, to have client memberships, but through the app, they can scan a QR code. They can
hmm.
track their visits. So, for example, if on their third visit, they get a free lip flip. On another three visits, they get a free vitamin injection.
Awesome.
And what I learned is, who doesn't love that? It's very similar to a Starbucks app. If
Hmm.
you get your 10th copy for the week, you get a free one, or you get a free one on your birthday, right?
Yeah,
Um, so it's a tool that I invested in, an app that I invested in that's helped a little bit with client retention.
that's awesome.
Yeah,
I'm sure that it has helped the lifetime value to go much higher for your customers than it would have otherwise. That's great. But it also is a great way for your customers to have a tool to track kind of what they've done and how long it's been and to
right.
just see where they've come from. So that's really cool. I like that. What do you, so in terms of services that you offer, I saw on your website we're doing injectables.
Yes.
And is that the whole scope right now? Are you primarily focused on injectables?
Yes, primarily focused on injectables. Right now, I don't offer any lasers. Um, when I started Gray Skin, again, it was scary, right, in the beginning. So
Yeah.
I always told myself that I wanted to set myself up for success. So I decided at the time I'm going to carry a small menu of
Hmm.
services, uh, small menu of service offerings.
Yeah.
And that way I focus really on the ones that I know I'm good at, I can
Hmm.
offer safely, and I can do really well. I I call it offering the in and out menu as opposed to the Cheesecake Factory menu. And I told some patients this. You go to In and Out, they're focused on cheeseburgers, French fries, and they make really good shakes. You go to Cheesecake Factory, and they might have a handful of really, really good dishes, but then their menu is this thick, and they might do other dishes okay.
Yeah.
So, anyways, that was my train of thought when I first opened Gray Skin as far as what I wanted to offer. So back to lasers. At the time, one, lasers are very expensive to offer. Um, it's
Hmm.
it's very big to start. So that was one reason. Two, I didn't particularly um it's not my favorite thing to do. I'll
Hmm.
be honest. When I did lasers at the other med spa I worked at, um, that was part of the service offering that we had, and I did them, but it wasn't my favorite offering, I guess you could say.
Yeah. And then what about more facials and microneedling and things like that?
Yeah.
Any plan for that?
Yes. So I do also offer microneedling,
Uh-huh.
PRF gel, wellness injections. Yeah. I'm
That's
not doing
awesome.
IV therapy just yet, but that might be something I'll consider.
Well, I bet if people are listening to this right now that are in your area, they're hoping that you do because that's the best thing that you could
Probably.
have. And I've seen people that are injecting toxin filler and also having them hooked up to an IV to boost immunity. And
Oh, yeah.
I think it's a fantastic way to do it. Um, just simultaneously. It's
Right.
not
One
any
stop
really
shop.
extra. Yeah, one-stop shop, exactly. What do you feel like you want to in the next few years? What's the goal for Grayskin? What are you trying to accomplish with it? Are you wanting to keep it very boutique, very hands-on, high touch? everybody gets you, you know
Hmm.
everybody?
Hmm.
Are you wanting to expand, bring in new providers, have them do the other devices, another location? What do you feel like is important to you?
Good question. Thank you for asking me that because it gets my thought process going. I want to still keep it a little boutique where, again, back to the Cheesecake Factory In and Out
Yeah.
example. I still
And I
want
was
to
going to
keep
tell
it.
you, I was going to tell you, I
I'll use food a lot
I love
for
food examples a
analogies.
lot. I love food examples. And I love In and Out and how simple it is. And I can't stand the Cheesecake Factory. Sorry, Cheesecake Factory. You
So,
just don't do it for me.
so circling back to that, and to answer your question, I would still like to keep most of the Grace experience a boutique feel. I would like to hopefully grow in size and maybe expand in a bigger space and hire team members so that
Wonderful.
um, Grace can continue to run efficiently, right? And service everybody so that I'm not doing everything myself forever. That's the goal, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
That is the goal, is to scale, but to still have a boutique-like feel.
I love that.
Is that possible? I think so. I think it is very possible. You can still have a boutique-like feel where everyone still gets the attention and the service they deserve, but still grow and scale. And
You
that
know,
again is part of why I wanted to go off on my own because that is an element that I can control.
I can
Um,
tell. I can tell by
yeah,
talking to you and how warm and peaceful you make me feel. Like I feel very calm talking to you, which is nice because there's a lot out there that takes away your peace
there is.
and
We have
takes
enough
away
of
your
that for
calm.
sure.
We
If my
do,
kids
but
ever watch this, they would laugh at what you just said. They'd probably be like, "She's not calm."
it's all an act.
Yeah,
She's the worst.
you're
Ah,
just saying that for the camera. Yeah.
oh no, my gosh. But like when I think about it, like I'm serious. How I feel is just very calm. It's very relaxed, and that's what I would want to feel like. I've never gotten tox. I've never gotten filler. I've only gotten laser. I've gotten facials, things like that. I have gotten microneedling and RF microneedling,
Oh, good.
but
Great treatments.
yeah, I personally am scared of getting poked in the face with a needle, and I know there's a lot of people that are too. I would feel comfortable to do it with you, but
Yeah.
pretend I'm your patient or a potential
Hmm.
customer who I just kind of want you to talk me through as you would one of your other folks that will actually be there because there are people who are listening to this who haven't gotten injected by you yet and could because they're close enough
Yeah.
that they could come in. But is it scary? What do we need to be scared? Do we need to be aware in terms of safety? What are you following that's going to maybe help ease my mind about the process and everything and how it's going? Like, can you speak to that?
Yes. I'm glad you bring that up because in the world of aesthetics, what people need to remember, provider wise and patient wise, is that it is still medicine. Although it's very glamorized, especially on social media,
Oh yeah.
it's in the realm of beauty, of course, right? But it's still medicine. It's absolutely still medicine, which is why it in the state of California, you need a registered nurse to administer the treatments and to
Hmm.
be overseen and supervised by a medical director. With that said, safety is always the first priority, top priority,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And us nurses we learn the same fundamentals. We learn the same, how to start an IV, how to draw up medication. So those still um, translate into aesthetic medicine, absolutely every day. So if a patient is ever, you know, um, nervous about going into a med spa or getting their first Botox treatment, um, they should feel comfortable knowing that they're going to a registered nurse who's
Hmm.
been trained in nursing fundamentals, especially, right?
Yeah.
But when they come into gray skin, actually, when they go into any med spa, but especially at Gray Skin, what I try to instill and practice is um, here you're providing more of it's a personal service. People are here by personal choice. When I take
Yep.
care of patients in the hospital, again, they're critically ill. They've gotten in an accident or they need a emergency surgery. Here, I'm still a nurse,
Yeah.
still providing medical treatments, but my patients are here by choice. They can choose to go to the med spa 5 miles down the street. Um, but especially if they chose to come here, my my goal is to make them feel like they made the best decision coming here because they had a
Yeah.
choice,
Yeah,
if
they
that makes
do.
sense.
It does make sense. And I love that answer because there's tons of choices out there. I really think that if I ever do get injected, it's going to be based off of making a
Yeah,
decision like you said. I want to feel very aware of the injector's background, their approach to the whole thing. Like,
yeah,
this is medicine. These are medical procedures. They're elective, but this is medicine, and you better take it
yes,
seriously because these are human lives that you're dealing with here.
absolutely.
And that's I really respect that about you because I think that that's the most important thing you could possibly think and take into consideration as you're treating your patients because not everybody will look into, is your license with the nursing board active? Not everybody will look in and ask you how many
Right.
trainings you've gone to in the past 12 months, 24 months, but you can ask all those things.
Yeah,
And I
all
think
of that
that,
is public information. They can
uh-huh,
go onto the nursing board website and look up a nurse's license and see if it's active or delinquent or,
yeah,
or if there's been any claims and whatnot. But
yeah,
my whole point is when someone comes in to hear,
hmm,
um, I think what med spas should really try to remember that yes, it's absolutely still medicine, but there still has to be um, a sort of we worry about bedside manner when we're in the hospital. There absolutely still has to be that here in the med spa. You can call it chairside manner, maybe. Chairside manner. There should be
I like
chairside
that.
manner.
I
Um,
like that.
because again, here they're here by choice. And yes, you could probably give them great results with their lip filler or Botox, but they're going to remember the whole experience, how you greeted them, how you checked them in, how you sat them down, how you gave them a furry blanket, how you put a fan on their face while you cleaned it with alcohol. Those little things add up to their whole experience.
I agree. I agree. What do you feel like you have done differently now that you've been in practice for almost 5 years to add to the experience compared to what you did when you started? Like, how do you make it an elevated experience?
One thing I was not able to do when I worked as an employee at a med spa was um, take more time, especially during an initial consult.
Mm,
During an initial
yeah,
consult, I had only 30 minutes. And if a repeat patient came in for just Botox, I also had 30 minutes. 30 minutes to take a photo, assess, make markings, inject, go over aftercare, clean their face, and send them on their way. 30 minutes. So, what I've done in my practice is yes, I know in business, time is money. I get that we want to be efficient, but I also want to continue to nurture the people that I have, the relationships I have. They
man,
will
that's
remember
amazing.
they'll remember the whole experience. So I'm
Yeah,
able to take my time a little bit more. And when they come in for an initial consultation, I really take my time. My initial consultations are probably longer than most providers. They might
hmm,
take 30 minutes or maybe 40 minutes. I take more like 45, sometimes 55 for an initial consult.
yeah,
To me, that's the most important meeting is their very first meeting.
I agree with
So,
you. Why do
yeah.
you think that's the most important? I agree, but why do you feel that way?
I feel that way because to me, that's your make or break point. They've already
Yeah.
made the decision in their research, whether they looked you up on Google or asked a friend about you, they've already made all those, they've done all the legwork in their head, right? All the
Hmm.
thought process has already happened.
Hmm.
So the most important moment is when they've arrived at your place, they're in your chair.
Yeah,
That's your opportunity. You have to, I think it's very important to see it that way. Once they're in your chair, an initial consult, every initial consult should turn into an appointment.
I
And
agree.
maybe it doesn't always, or maybe it doesn't turn into an appointment that or a treatment that day. They might mull over all the information and education you gave
Hmm.
them for days, sometimes weeks. Um, but it should turn into an appointment eventually.
I agree. I want to ask two more questions.
Hopefully, I'm not too relaxing and you're not falling asleep.
No, I'm not falling asleep at all. You are relaxing though. I think that what you could
Okay.
also do is just create a YouTube channel where you're just talking about all these things, and I would watch because it would make me feel calm. So one of the other things I want to ask before we wrap is if you were only able to get one treatment for the rest of your life, which one are you choosing?
Which one am I choosing? I would choose microneedling with PRF.
Okay, because why?
Skin.
Skin.
Skin. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Botox is great. Neuromodulators are great. But I'm 50. I'm going to continue to age. Um, and neuromodulators will definitely help with that. Fillers, biostimulators will continue to do their job and help.
Yeah.
Um, and maybe some nurse injectors will disagree with this. In my opinion, my choice will be microneedling with PRF. Why? Because
Microneedling PRF.
skin first. I'll always have my skin. I might not have my youthful fat pads up here, but I'll have my skin, and my
You
skin, yes,
will.
will continue to change. Um, but that's what I'll choose. I'll choose skin texture and skin structure first, skin health first.
I love that a
That's
lot.
my choice.
And then my last question is, if you if you could share a heartfelt message to all of your patients, what would you say to them that you would want them to know?
Hmm. What I want them to know, and I didn't get to talk about this in the beginning, um, gray skin comes from a place, yes, to age gracefully. Aging is a privilege. And I mentioned that on my website, and that's all true. But the name gray skin actually stems from a place where I myself, a few years ago, um, came from a dark place. I was going through something traumatic that left me broken, sad, depressed. I wasn't feeling very well about
Okay.
myself, especially. Okay. So, believe it or not, someone like me didn't feel pretty. I didn't feel
Hmm.
loved. I didn't feel worthy at the time because of what was happening to me and
Hmm.
around me.
Hmm.
And this was a few years ago. Um, this was before I wanted to open up a med spa.
Yeah.
This was back in 2019, before the lip filler, but in 2019.
Yep.
So fast forward to, working at a med spa, getting into aesthetics and all my years of nursing. When I was finally ready to go off on my own, I thought of no better name than Gray Skin. And why? Because when I was ready to open my own place, I knew it was coming from a place that was a deeper calling of mine. It wasn't just because I wanted my own identity or I wanted to um, control how I saw my own patients. I wanted
Yeah.
to create a safe place where people felt seen, where they felt heard, where they felt understood. Um,
Man,
we're here where you sit in the chair and I give you a mirror. We're not going to critique your face. My first 10, 15 minutes of your consultation, I'm just listening to you, just listening to your story. So
yeah,
gray skin comes from a time in my life where I did not feel good about myself or good about life. And I learned that, through therapy, through supportive family and friends,
yeah.
um, I eventually learned how to cope, get better, feel better. And by doing so, taking better care of myself, I was able to learn how to pour that much more onto those around me. So gave myself grace, hence the name Gray Skin.
I love that.
Yeah. You're like, whoa.
No, it's deep. I love meaningful stuff. I just, there's so much meaning in life that we can choose to give it to things that happen after the struggles and the trauma.
Yeah,
There's such an opportunity, and you did that, Ingrid. You're doing it still. I don't know the situation or what happened. It may have been a long period. It may have been something that was just an instant and changed you forever, but you're giving meaning and purpose to it. And
yeah, absolutely.
that is the beautiful part of what we get to do as people and as business owners. And you're able to look at your patients as, and I'm sure that 10, 15 minutes, you don't need to confirm or whatever. I'm sure that when you give a mirror to someone and let them talk for 10 or 15 minutes, there can be sometimes some trash talking and some down talking to about themselves. And you're probably able, and you come at them with a different lens than they've ever looked at before, and you help them understand
Absolutely.
the truth.
Yeah.
And that is so powerful. That is that
Right.
is the reason I would go to you if I was close by. Like that is what aesthetics really should be about.
Oh, absolutely.
That's
You're
it.
when they sit in the chair, you're hearing their story. Sure, they probably came in and booked lip filler or they booked Botox, but you'll learn so much in the first 5, 10 minutes when they sit
Oh
down.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. I love that. Thank you
absolutely.
so much for sharing that.
Thank you.
I'm glad
Thank you
I'm
for
glad I
again for
asked that
having me.
question. Yeah. If people have been scoping out your Instagram or you're finding her for the first time, Beauty Nurse Ingrid is her Instagram handle. Go follow her, say hello, book with her, and and really just again, thank you for the time, Ingrid. This has been a
I
pleasure for
appreciate
me.
it. Thank you, Mike. Thank you. Thanks
Thank
for
you.
the
And
time.
absolutely take care of yourself, everybody, and have a good day.
Take care.